We're shaking, we're breaking, we're releasing, we're anointing, we're appointing. We're doing a new thing on 125th Street. Dr. Ben Yanking his way, and that it is. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Amen.
That's Dr. Ben. That's Dr. Ben. Thank you. So we're going to ask one of his comrades, and probably out of that class of elders, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, to come forth with some comments. Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Come forward.
125th.
Hotep family, Black Power family. Black lives is all right if it's Africanized. Now, it's wonderful to have all of us here in this enormous celebration. But yes, I know, five African minutes. Hey, 5 African minutes. But how am I gonna come on after Dr. Ben's family? Let's give our sister and the family an acknowledgement and a round of applause. Dr. Ben's daughter, Sister Ruth, worked her behind off to make this happen, got sick, went into the hospital, and Dr. Ben dragged her out of the hospital, and here she is now.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries.
My wife and I want to be able to let all of you know that we appreciate your coming here. Rosalind, put your hands in the air so they can see you. Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, who is a part of the Harlem community. She was born and raised 115th, 16th Street. She was born in Harlem Hospital, and so I'm an extension of that Harlem that she's a part of. Now, under normal circumstances, Dr. Clark would tell me be short and sweet. And a Dr. Clark order would be a 30-minute introduction and then a 3 to 4 hour blast to knock them on their ass. I mean, we can't do that. But you being here have left a statement. This is sacred ground. Dr. Ben added a dimension to it. It's sacred ground in the Adam Clayton Powell sense. It's sacred ground in the memorial bookstore that was in this very spot, which spoke to us about Pan-Africanism. Dr. Ben was a family man beyond family, even though it was rough love, but he was a brother who initiated the brotherhood. He was a brother who went to Egypt and gave us the gift that keeps on giving, Kemet, or the Nile Valley. So we can't say enough about the brother and what he's done. However, we have to Africanize our lives so we can pass on the legacy that he has given us. You can't mention Dr. Ben without mentioning his partner in Harlem, Dr. John Henry Clark. And I'll be talking with you a little deeper on this matter when we're at the National Black Theater, where we want to raise some money to make sure that the family has the money to do the things that they need to do. So if you can come after 4 to the National Black Theater, make sure. Okay. Right, but so they have tickets. Yes. This is not a free ride. This is a donation to Dr. Ben's memory. And if you don't have a ticket, you know how they used to have the Sandman at the Apollo Theater? When you overdid it, you may have somebody drag you away from the door. But anyway, brothers and sisters, this is a family affair. Dr. Clark's brotherhood relationship with Dr. Ben was one of our great happenings in Harlem. You need to study it. You need to appreciate it. Rededicate your life to what struggle is all about. Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben published prolifically. I see Dr. Ballou. She helped to translate Dr. Ben's work in Spanish. Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben talked about the unfinished revolution of African
Simon show, right?
Huh?
King Simon show, right?
That Leonard Jeffries? Leonard Jeffries. Huh? Oh, to that. Yeah. No, it's not. What's his name? Not King Simon guy. It's he be with Red Pill and them all the time. I got it from him.
Never will. Find out what many people want to submit to, and you found out the exact nature of justice and wrong.
Hold on, I got to pay for my parking pass right quick.
Mind power, African consciousness is the victory. At the center of that,
Okay.
Right back through. Just got to pay for my parking pass. Everybody up here, Dr. Finish. Just got to pay for my ticket.
You got dead weight. Yeah.
So they got her.
Okay, we're going to sound a little bit more lively here. On time. My name is Dr. Chisholm. I'm screen and I'm here from Santa Cruz, St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Who's standing there in the house? You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Bring it up. Bring it up. So I'm going to make sure I speak in a form that everybody could understand. But Santa Cruz, St. Croix, Estate La Valley in particular, is that Ground Nation area where we
Hey, what's
have
going
the
on,
honor
man?
and privilege
How you doing?
to
Yes,
see
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
entire estate full of Johanneses. Part of this family right here. And it's an honor and privilege to be able to share an extension of a time when we had the privilege with working with Eldris. I always call her Eldris Queen Mother, Ruth Johannes. To be able, right, stand up, mommy. Well, yes, rise up, mommy. Yes, mommy. Because she doesn't take no for an answer, and she makes sure you do 10 times more work than you thought you were going to do. Yeah. So from the time we had the opportunity to have a resolution to honor Dr. Yusuf Ramadan, put in place by the government of the Virgin Islands as a resolution that we acknowledge not only his day of birth, the day of his ascension, and all in between, to make sure that his works, his teachings, as many of the collections that we have access to are inside of not only our public schools, the private schools, the parochial schools, the home school, the untold, all of it, to make sure that the youth of our Virgin Islands community can benefit from the strength
the endurance, the standards of excellence, and the profound forms of African, let me correct myself, Native, indigenous, ancestral, African, Nubian, Cushian, primitive heritage legacy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to say it again. Native, indigenous, ancestral, African, Cushian, primitive, Nubian, heritage, legacy. And if you look at those letters, the letters are still on. It is still eternal life. It is still an eternity. So the street, yeah, powerful. Every time we walk through this area, we should be pushing that same vibration. I appreciate your time. No, I can feel it. Was like I didn't even close my eyes. I appreciate it. I just want to just send greetings because this is happening at a time where this is the National Caribbean American Heritage Month by the U.S. Congress. This is powerful. This is the 5th year of the International Decade for People of African Descent. And then we wouldn't have a decade or a year or anything had it not been for those ancestors like the Honorable African Renaissance man. The Honorable. I'm going to say it twice. Honorable. Dr. Joseph Benyakuna. With that, I to the family, we give honors and praise.
Do a lot of that.
Even if I had to drive 3 hours to get here right
now. Next, we're going to ask one of Dr. Ben's students who we've had this young man with us since he was a teenager. And that's Brother Rob Carter. Brother Rob.
Teacher, may I have permission to speak? Give thanks and praise, everyone. First and foremost to our ancestors, and to us who are here, we are the now-cestors. It's our turn to be the cestors now. So behalf of the memory of Dr. Clark, who introduced me to Dr. Ben, I was 13 when I first met Dr. Clark, and I got hypnotized once I heard that man speak. And I made it my vow to find him wherever I wanted to go in life. I wanted to go and I wanted him to be my teacher. But it is through Dr. Clark that I was able to meet the First World family, including Dr. Ben. So I'm eternally grateful to everyone here within the sound of my voice and the sight of my eyes, who we've all watched each other evolve over the decades. It is my honor to share this day with you. I'd like to thank Miss Jackie Jeffries for thinking enough to connect with myself, and also to you, Ruth, Naomi, and baby girl Dawn. So on this note, are there any fighters in here? All right. So I want this side of my team to go, yay. This side will go, whoa. Okay, I wrote this song for Maurice Bishop. When he was killed, it broke my heart. And Gil Nobles had a wonderful captain in his team. The last word she said at the end of the interview was, fighters mourn too. So when I give you the cue, then you're gonna go, yeah, whoa, all right? I've been on the earth long enough to know freedom fighters come and freedom fighters go. And I wrote the song to help us in some way. I want my people to grow stronger every day. And I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. And I've been on the earth long enough to see the possibilities of what true freedom can bring. And our leaders, yes, they left us with a spark, but it's up to every man and woman to make their mark. And I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. If you're ready now, sing it with me. Let's go. Fighters mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. Well, fighters mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. So yeah, whoa. Well, I've been on the earth long enough to see the possibilities of what your freedom can bring. And our leaders, yes, they left us with a spark, but it's up to every man and woman to make their mark. And I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. So yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. And before I go, I want to say happy birthday to all the Geminis in the house. And I want to say happy birthday to my mother, who will be 96 in July. Finally, let no one steal your joy. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Thank you.
Like Ralph said, he's been with us since he was a teenager. And like me, he's got a gray hair. I've been with Doc since I was a teenager. And look at me now. The next person will be making some comments, a young man who was inspired by Dr. Ben. Yeah, you want to? But I will come to you. You want to come now? Yes, ma'am. Another member of the... Oh, please. You don't need to know your name.
I just want to say something because I know everybody's here, you got so and so, but I was like 8 years old when I met Professor George Simmons. And George Simmons came from down 5th Avenue and 116th Street on Lenox Avenue with my dad up to 125th. We had Chuck Full of Nuts.
Excuse me?
We had Sister Pepper.
No. You want it?
We had quite a few.
Do you want
and
it?
I just
No,
want
it's
to
just
make
that
sure
right
that
in this area.
if someone's here,
Don't tell me.
family member,
They
a professor,
know who I am. Did you want it?
George Simmons,
Cool. You want it?
we honor you as well today.
That's another one of Dr. Ben's tough daughters. Tough daughters. Thank you, beloved. Is there anyone else from the family that want to make comments? Don't say no now and then you'll be crying later. I wanted to speak, Brother Smoke. But we still have time, even when we go to the side. So we'll ask Brother Umar, Dr. Umar Johnson, to come forward with some comments.
Black Power.
Black Power.
It's good to be here today with the family. I want to salute the relatives and kith and kin of Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen. A lot of people may not know this about me, but I'm one of the ideological and intellectual sons of Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen. I was an 18-year-old freshman in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at the Millersville University, and the advisor of the Black Student Union decided to send a group of us to Howard University for what was called the Black Consciousness Conference in 1992. And I went to the Black Consciousness Conference and I listened to all the seminars, and there was one more seminar on my schedule and I almost didn't go. I was hungry, I had been there all day, wonderful conference, and I said, let me go listen to this last guy with the weird name, Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen. So I went to the conference and I remember it like it was yesterday. He stood up there in the three-piece suit, and as he spoke, my mouth just dropped wide open. He dropped jewel after jewel, and I was just spellbound. And by the time he was done, I said to myself that what that man got, I want to get it. And so from that day forward, I tried to find every video I could find, every tape recording of Dr. Ben I could find. I would go to the Know Thyself bookstore in Philadelphia run by Deacon Dale Jones, the war correspondent. And I would say, give me that Dr. Ben. And I was just Dr. Ben crazy. And I bought every book that Dr. Ben had. And the first full-length book that I read was Black Man of the Nile. And since that time, I said, I want to do for Black psychology what Dr. Ben did for African history. And when I think of Dr. Ben, I think of several key things. One thing is he was convicted. He had conviction. That's something that a lot of us don't have no more, where he stood for what was right when it was right, and he didn't care about the consequences. Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen was convicted. Dr. Yusuf bin Yakinen, he also had honor. He would stand up for black folks no matter what they had to give him or what he had to get back, and he was willing to sacrifice his name, his credentials, everything he had for the liberty and self-respect of African people. When I think of Dr. Ben, I think of a workaholic, tireless in the struggle for African liberation, never taking a break, never getting enough sleep. And it's just so marvelous and such a miracle to see that he lived to be as long and as old and wise as he did, given that he never took a break from the freedom struggle. I remember Deke Jones once told me that when Dr. Ben worked at Temple University in North Philadelphia, he would put his books together with his bare hands, stitching the pages and handwriting out the books and making photocopies. This is what he did to make sure African people had his work. And I think Dr. Ben and his types are so far gone now because African scholarship has become a scholarship for capitalism as opposed to a scholarship for activism, and we got to put the activism back into the African Senate Scholarship. But as I close, I just want to say that Dr. Ben is one of my greatest heroes. Of all the scholars that I've met in my lifetime, he would rank #1. And he's one of the few that I actually had the privilege to meet. So I just want to say to all the young people out here, it is our obligation to just keep on pushing and remain as unapologetically African as Dr. Ben was. Black Power.
Thank you, Dr. Omar, Dr. Johnson. There's a young brother who came to this community and we welcome him, and much of the community wasn't even welcoming the nation back to Harlem because of all the crisis. But now, thank the brother Hafiz, we know the nation has found their home again. But there was a young minister that came before brother Hafiz. We used to call him the hip-hop rap minister. And so I'm calling brother minister Comrade Muhammad to come up and make some comments.
President said, you ain't nobody.
Thank you, Brother Smalls, to the family of Dr. Ben and all of the elders, Dr. Jeffries and others. I request permission to speak. I am here today. I came all the way from my church in Brooklyn because, as Alton Maddox used to say, when I heard it on the grapevine, I knew that all roads led to 125th Street today. And I'm proud to be here in African Square. I'm proud to be in the shadow of the statue of the Reverend Adam Clayton Powell and the Teresa Hotel where Brother Malcolm had his office. And to be here with you to remember the great Dr. Ben. I am one of those that was blessed to walk these streets, not the gentrified Harlem of today, but the gritty Harlem streets of yesteryear. And one of the great things about Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henry Clarke, you didn't have to call their office, you didn't have to hang out outside of a television studio to meet them. You can meet them right here on the streets of Harlem. They are the original community professors, and they gave us the original community university. And we cannot forget how accessible they were to their people. Because if you're going to teach people and lead people, you have to be of people, and you have to be comfortable with people. Lastly, I want to say this. That great generation of scholars, black educators that were unabashed, boldly black. They were not concerned about mainstream academia. They were not concerned about being acceptable to their colleagues and peers. What they were concerned about was teaching us a knowledge of ourselves so that we could be proud of who we are, and because of them, we are proud of who we are. I remember when Henry Louis Gates wrote an article in the New York Times in 1992 about pseudo-scholars. But I want you to know that Dr. Ben was not only, as Minister Hafiz said, a great scholar. Not only was he a great teacher, a master teacher, but Dr. Ben was also a master psychologist, because after we heard him, we felt better about ourselves. And lastly, I say to the young scholars and young people, we cannot be so concerned about being with the progressive agenda that we forget about the black agenda. We got to understand that Dr. Ben was boldly black, unabashedly black, and we can be no less today. And so black lives do matter. Oh, yes, they do. But they've been mattering. When Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale and Lil Bobby Hutton said that they were going to defend the black community, that's because black lives matter. When Robert Williams said that he was going to be with the Deacons for Defense, that's because black lives matter. And so there's nothing new under the sun. And if you're talking today and leading and you don't know about Dr. Ben, then you need to sit down and learn something of a real revolutionary African scholar. I honor him. I honor you. That's why I'm happy to be here today. God bless you and God keep you.
In a very short while, we're going to have the unveiling. But just before the unveiling, we're going to have one more brother speak. And then we're going to ask the family first to go over to where the sign is that's covered. And then Sister Sonia is going to start singing at the same time. But before we do that, we want to ask a brother, Dr. Anthony Browder, who has just arrived from D.C., Baltimore area, along with Brother Paul Coates, who is here, but Brother Coates is not going to make any comments at this time, but Brother Browder, Brother Anthony Browder, will make comments. Tony.
Peace, family. Listen, we all know every person has a finite period of time that they will walk the earth. We're only here for a short period of time, and when we're gone, we're gone. There are a handful of people who have left us, but their name and their legacy continues to live long after they are gone. John Henry Clark, John Jackson, Shashi McIntyre. So many brothers and sisters have walked the streets of Harlem, have paid the ultimate price of sacrificing their time, their talent, and their treasure to prepare a way for us. And the only way, the best way that we can honor them is by naming buildings after them, naming institutions after them, naming streets after them, such that every time you speak the name of that building or that street or that institution, they live because you speak their names. So today we're honoring one of the greatest lives that Harlem has ever produced, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yaqin. And let us make sure that when we walk past this corner, we walk past this corner with dignity and strength, such that we represent everything that Dr. Ben spent his life bringing into our consciousness, so that we would know who we are and we would move through life with strength and determination, because there is a spirit that flows through us. A spirit that is older than any other spirit on this planet. A spirit that created cultures and civilizations that the world is still benefiting from. So having Dr. Ben's name enshrined on that street sign ensures that that spirit will live through you. Every time you walk past this corner, open yourself up, allow yourself to receive his energy, allow his spirit to inspirit you, to inspire you, so that we, like Dr. Clark, can continue his great and mighty work. Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate your presence here today.
Brother Tony Browder, who is quite walking in stead, is one of the first African Americans who's carrying on an actual archaeological dig in Ghana, in Egypt, you know, I love Ghana. In Egypt, and he's actually on his second tomb. And in the second tomb, can you talk about Tony? What, Tony? He has to wait. You talk about the second. In the second tomb, can I mention the pyramid? That's not. We won't talk about that. Okay. But he has discovered some extraordinary things, which fits quite into what Doc has told us when he says we come from the foothill of the mountains of the moon, where the god Happy dwelt, which is in the papyrus of Hunefa. And so he's quite on that work. And soon you're going to hear an explosion of what he has discovered. So now we'll ask the family to get prepared and to get ready to move over to the sign. So we don't want anyone else to move over to that sign yet. Make a path for the family and to go over. You stated that we still have time. So we want the family to be first at the sign. If I see anybody else there, I am going to move you out of the way. So I hope y'all understand. So, you and the family, son? Then move out of the way. You're in the way. Come on, brother. Everybody follow this brother. Sister Sonia.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Once they get
Hey, brother.
Yeah, I gotta send it to my bro.
Hey, I came up from B-More to speak to you about the clothes. You DMing?
I remember.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready to get it so we can talk about it after this all over.
Yeah, let's chop it. Yeah, I'd love to meet her.
You didn't know where you
got approved from my LLC. Okay. Yeah, so everything's been rolling now, man. Oh, you know what's a good investment? Beyond Meat.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for like 3 weeks and went up 78% in 3 weeks. Yeah.
What did it start out selling at?
I bought it at 88. It's at 148. And that's in 3 weeks, yeah.
When it launched, what did it launch as?
It launched at like, I think 60. No, you okay, man. You're great. Dr. Ben.
Yes,